This video explains Hour by Carol Ann Duffy. First of all, I'm going to read the poem through. Hour. Love's time's beggar, but even a single hour, bright as a dropped coin, makes love rich. We find an hour together, spend it not on flowers or wine, but the whole of the summer sky and a grass ditch. For thousands of seconds we kiss, your hair like treasure on the ground, the Midas light turning your limbs to gold. Time slows, for here we are millionaires, backhanding the night, so nothing dark will end our shining hour. No jewel hold a candle to the cuckoo spit hung from the blade of grass at your ear. No chandelier or spotlight see you better lit than here. Now. Time hates love, wants love poor, but love spins gold, gold, gold from straw. Now we've got some tips here about how to understand the poem. So the clue hunter says, first of all, to think carefully about the title. So the title, Hour, is this linked to time, and why is it just 1 hour? Makes you think of a very small chunk of time, but we don't really know what else it's linked to. So let's read again through the poem and see what we think. We've also got the tip here to analyse the first line for meaning. So love's time's beggar. That means that love is time's beggar. Love has to beg time for something. So how can time be a beggar? Well, that's obviously a metaphor or personification to show that these two things, love and time, are sort of arguing with each other, and love has to beg time for just a single hour. Just one single hour has to be begged for. And when it does get that one single hour, it's as bright as a dropped coin. That's a simile. So love is like a lucky find. It's like finding a dropped coin on the floor, and it makes love rich. We find an hour together, spend it not on flowers or wine, but the whole of a summer sky and a grass ditch. Well, the word we now makes me think that it's a couple together. First of all, we open with a statement saying that love has to beg time. But now we've got a sort of anecdotal story here that says we find an hour together, spend it not on flowers or wine. So they're spending time being in love. They don't want to spend money together being in love. They're actually spending time together. For thousands of seconds we kiss. So they spend there every second of that hour that time has given them, kissing each other and adoring each other. And it uses a simile of your hair like treasure on the ground. So obviously there's some adoration there because the speaker is saying that their hair's like treasure. The Midas light turning your limbs to gold. So that's a metaphor of the Midas touch. And everything that King Midas touched turned to gold in the story. So now it's almost as if this person's kissing their partner and their limbs, their arms and their legs are turning to gold and becoming more valuable. Time slows, for here we are millionaires. So when they're together, they don't need richness like material wealth. They're together, they're millionaires when they've got some time together because they're rich in love. And they're backhanding the night. So that means that they're actually trying to get rid of the night. They're trying to fight it away, backhanding the night. So nothing dark will end our shining hour. They're trying to fight the night from coming, making the most of the time they've got together. No jewel hold a candle to the cuckoo spit hung from the blade of grass at your ear. So they don't want jewels. No chandelier or spotlight see you better lit. They don't want anything that's of material richness. They just want to be together. They want to have love and time together. And if they've got that together, nothing dark like time can end it. Time hates love, wants love poor. So here we've got some personification. So again, time is like a person and he's hating that other person, love. So it is personification. And time wants love to be poor. So it's like it's holding back any time that these lovers could have together. For love to grow, they need time together, and time is keeping that apart from them. But love ultimately is more powerful because from whatever little it gets from time, love spins gold, gold, gold from straw. And that relates to the fairy tale of Rapunzel, where the princess had to spin gold from straw, and so it's almost making something from nothing. So love manages to make something from nothing at all. In spite of the little that time gives to love, it manages to make something of it. So the poem's about people wanting to be together, having to make the most of the time together, but just not feeling that they've got enough time together at all. Another tip is to think who is speaking. Well, it says we find an hour together early on in the poem, so we know it's a couple talking, or the speaker is talking about the relationship with another person. Another good tip is to look for words that link to the same theme, feeling or idea. So we've got lots of words here to describe the richness of being in love. So love is as bright as a dropped coin. Love is rich. Your hair, somebody's hair is like treasure. So that person who we love, their hair is like treasure. Their limbs are turned to gold. When they're together, they are millionaires. They're rich in time and love. They don't need jewels, but a piece of cuckoo spit is like a jewel when you're looking at somebody you love. It doesn't need to be anything precious. It can just be something as simple as cuckoo spit, and it looks like a jewel. And chandelier. Don't need a chandelier when you're in love. Love is a form of wealth, and so it's inferring again that love is richness. And then love spins gold, gold, gold from straw. Love can make you very rich, not in money, but in emotion and in happiness. So that reinforces our ideas about it being about a couple who are in love and just don't get enough time together and having to make the most time they've got. So now it asks us to look for emotive words that show strength of feeling. So beggar is quite a strong word, and love has to beg time, showing that actually time is in control and love is the poor one who has to keep begging. And the word begging makes you think that it really has to fight hard to get anything from time at all. But love also seems quite aggressive towards time. It backhands it. It not just pushes it away or tries to resist it. It backhands it, making you think that it kind of hits it away. But also again, time hates love, absolutely hates it. So it's not time dislikes love. That's quite a strong word. Time absolutely hates love and is out to get it, wants to stop it from having anything at all. So it presents time and love as being enemies. Now the shape of the poem is in a sonnet format. So the last two lines, the rhyme scheme of the sonnet format goes hour, flowers, rich and ditch. And sonnets are a form of poetry that are often linked to love, and they always follow the same rhyme scheme. So often the first and the third line will rhyme, and the second and the fourth line. It doesn't always have to follow this structure absolutely, but most of the time you can recognise a sonnet by that kind of structure. And that follows on through the poem. Hair and here, it's a half rhyme, but it's nearly there. Light and night. Hour and ear, again that's a half rhyme, which means it's not quite, but it's nearly there. And spit and lit. So if you can recognise that within a poem, you've got a good idea that it's going to be a sonnet, and it's going to be about love. Now the last two lines of a sonnet usually summarise what the sonnet's been about or tell us the message. So here we've got at the end, the message is that although time does hate love and wants love poor, love always wins, because however little time gives it, it can spin gold, gold, gold from straw. So love will always win. Even though time might seem more powerful, love will always win because it can spin gold from whatever little it's been given. So that's the overriding message of the poem. It will always win. Love will always win against time. So how do these images link to the poem? Pause the video here and see if you can think of any ways it does. Also, we've got to compare the poem to another poem. So here are some poems we could compare it to. So like Hour, Sonnet 116 makes reference to the idea of the battle between love and time, as does To His Coy Mistress, and also it's a sonnet, so we can compare it in terms of structure. To His Coy Mistress is about the value of being in the present and enjoying the moment rather than thinking ahead, the same key theme as Hour. And like Hour, In Paris With You also rejects traditional ideas associated with love. Try and recall everything that you have heard in this video about the poem Hour in these circles. Pause the video here and copy it onto a piece of paper and try and recall everything you can under the themes, feelings and ideas, methods and structure headings. Then remember, in the exam, we've got to compare our poem to one another, and a question will look something like this. Compare the attitudes to love presented in Hour and one other poem. So we had this first box for Hour that you've already completed. We could choose any of the poems that we've already mentioned that you could compare to. So we could choose In Paris With You or To His Coy Mistress, and think about the themes, feelings and ideas about that poem. Do the same for the methods and then the structure. And then of course in the middle you can write what's similar. And then you can structure your essay on those themes. So you can write a PED for about Hour and a PED about your other poem and so forth, going along the boxes like that until you've got a complete essay. Therefore, you tick all the boxes that the examiner is looking for.